Hello everybody, it's Josh, and I guess I'm playing another furry VN, like some sick addict, but that's okay. I've heard some things about this game, so thought it would be neat. Maybe. Though I heard I need to like type passwords and shit that you find clues for, and I'm like, oh, it's not a multiple choice thing. It's just like I have to type it in. That sounds rough because I'm an idiot. But whatever, we're just gonna play this because I guess I thought the main character, Hyena Boy, looked a little cute. Because I'm a bad person. The streets around my house were empty. Likely a case because of how early it was. And my yeah, I still can't read, but you all know this already. Normally I'd still be in bed for the next few hours, get up, get myself some coffee, and move on to doing whatever it was I needed to do that day. School ended yesterday, and rather than enjoy the fact I didn't need to get up for classes, I was making my way towards the bus stop where I was to meet my friends. And why were they up so early as well? One of us, by some miracle or perhaps a stroke of good luck, managed to get an all-expense paid vacation at a mansion up in the mountains for a month. You're just gonna like go to the mountains on vacation with like your school friends? Where's your parents? I'm assuming like when they say like school, it meant like high school. So like, well, I hope these characters are 18. It did say that there was like 18 plus like for audience because of like violence and sex. So whatever. What better way to celebrate than to have a taste of the high life before moving on to college? I sat my bag down at the bus stop, checking the road. It was as dead as when I left the house, with no sign of the private bus that was meant to pick us up. Groaning, I rubbed my eyes. Tiredness wouldn't have been an issue if I had the time to have some coffee, but excitement kept me from thinking rationally. Wonder how long it'd take for the others to arrive. If only because once someone else was here, I could afford to zone out until I could take a nap on the bus. Roswell, okay. Oh dear, you look conscious. Yeah, you don't. Oh well. When I turned to face the voice, I was greeted with Roswell's smile, along with a familiar scent of freshly brewed coffee coming from the 2 cups on the tray he held out. I assume you might need a kickstart this morning. Here, you know which one is yours. Rubbing my eyes again, I nodded, reaching out for the coffee on the left. Not that I really knew which one was mine, but I had a 50-50 shot at getting it right. Failing that, I knew I could always look at the name written on the cup. Turning it over in my hand, I look at what the cup says. Huh. Well, I assume this is you naming the main character. And the main character's name is Dave, I think. I have Chrome open. I can just go check. You are Dave, a hyena who blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Enter. I looked down at the name. As I looked down at the name, I smiled. It was my name, a name I inherited from my dad. What's the matter, Dave? Nothing at all. I rubbed my thumb over the written name in marker. If it had my name on it, if this had my name written on it, then there was every chance that Roswell got my order right too. Okay. As I took the first sip, knew immediately that my order was correct. Just the right amount of milk, just the right amount of sugar, brewed to perfection. I didn't realize you needed it that badly, Dave. Hey, you should know by now that I need my coffee in the morning. Can't relate at all. I am not a coffee person. Oh, I know. That's why I stopped off especially. Okay. I didn't think anywhere would be open this early. I know some places. Don't worry about it. All that matters is that you have your awake juice. That's an odd phrase, but okay. Together we sighed out as we drink our coffee. The street was just as quiet as it was when we arrived, even with the added company. Before long, I noticed Roswell watching me curiously, much in the same way he'd watch for something to happen. Roswell, why are you staring at me? Oh, why are you staring? Aren't you excited? What, for this vacation? Of course the vacation. I thought you'd be, I don't know, more energetic. Well, I guess maybe a little. I laughed, the classic hyena trait that shone through when I'd been caught off guard. But, maybe wait until the coffee has a chance to wake me up. Roswell rolls his eyes, rummaging around in his pockets for something before quickly shoving whatever it was in his mouth. Roswell wants to double check things like this with me. Roswell's want to double check things like this with me went back when we were kids. Whether it was a habit or not, I don't know. There were times I'd do the same, but it was mostly for homework and such, even if that was only a couple years ago. Before that, he'd been away, having moved far enough that we couldn't hang out like we used to. But hanging out as kids was easy when you were literal neighbors. So this is our boy next door archetype. This is Roswell, the good old boy, I guess. I don't know. You know, this'll be good sort of send-off, I suppose. And that's what I thought. As I was replying, I watched as Roswell shoved more of whatever it was in his pocket into his mouth, losing where I was taking my thoughts. What are you eating? Breakfast. Breakfast? Show me. You're not eating candy for breakfast, are you? Hey, they're fruit gummies. Fruit is for breakfast, ergo, this is fine. You just have fruit gummies in your pocket? Roswell. I can respect that. But the sugar. Whatever point he was making was punctuated by him shaking his coffee cup. I knew he had a sweet tooth, but I wondered what a dentist would think. Hoy! Roswell and I look over to where the voice had come from, okay. Watching as an energetic dragon bounced towards us. Orlando. Okay. Cute shirt. I like it a lot more than Roswell's, that's for fucking sure. Good morning, friends. Orlando bounced on the spot, dropping his backpack next to mine and throwing an arm around our shoulders. Morning, Orlando. I shoot the dragon a look, his bulk having nearly made me spill my coffee. Getting the hint, he backed it down, stretching out his arms. Early mornings like this are a great start for an adventure, don't you think? Only if there's coffee involved. Some of us can be just as functional in the morning without it, you know. Turning away before I could get a reply in, Orlando called down the street to a crocodile slowly lumbering his way to us. Sal, hurry up already. Oh. Big friend, okay. Setting down his bag down too, Sal gave each of us a small wave. Good morning. You look as awake as Dave does, Sal. Leave me alone, I'm tired. But he's got like jogging pants on. What is casual? Okay. But answer me this, Sal. Are you at least excited for the mansion? At the very mention of the word, Orlando let out an excited cheer that was perhaps a little too loud for how early it was. Mansion! Mansion! Oh, he's excited. Okay. Orlando, less loud, please. He stopped, shooting Sal a sour look. Well, excuse me for having looking forward to this for a while. No classes? Mansion? How often do we get to have a month off? All expense paid vacation in a life of luxury. It looked like Sal went to say something, but shook his head, looking off down the road to check for the bus. So what? Too excited for the trip and too not? So it's a tie, or so what? So far? Whatever. Maybe. Dean's here. Dean's here, though. He is? No sooner than I had asked, I felt a hand land heavy on my shoulder. Oh, he's a bear. Okay. Hey. Dean throws his arm over my shoulder and smiled at everyone in turn. My alarm didn't go off. Well, it did, but not loud enough, I guess. Must have hit snooze one too many times. Yo, that's relatable. Don't worry, I assumed that might happen, which is why we're meeting now, so you're not late. Dean sighed, rubbing his face with his free hand. Aside from tired, how are you? Are you excited for this mansion? What mansion? What do you mean, what mansion? Where do you think we're going today? To be honest, I heard that everyone was headed somewhere exciting for a vacation, and I was just happy to be invited. Oh, okay. Plus, he kneaded my shoulder, eyeing up the coffee in my hand. Knowing who else was invited, too, helped sway me. Oh, that's kind of gay. But you're a bear, so that makes fucking sense. I rolled my eyes, a slight smile forming on my face. Dean and I were friends, not with benefits or anything more than that, but he for sure was trying to woo me. Okay. I mean, out of the people here, I guess, like, that's okay. He was old-fashioned like that, apparently, and wanted a proper date before calling anything official. Until then, he made it clear that he was interested in pursuing something, despite me being free to do what I want. Sal I didn't know as well as Orlando knew him. After meeting, we'd hang out a few times, but he and Orlando were mostly off doing things. Most times I saw Sal, it was times like this when we were all as a group. Roswell and Orlando were school friends, and with Orlando being who I hung out with a lot while Roswell was away. Okay. They got on as fast friends when Roswell entered the picture. But part of that was because Orlando was the high school president of the anime club. Okay. Oh, only losers are the president of an anime club. Speaking of, there was another member of the anime club who was coming today, and that'd be... Oh, Haas, you made it. Oh, we got a lion friend. Like, with a fun shirt. Well, I like that. As he appeared, Haas took off his sunglasses, and he had sunglasses? What a nerd. And hooked them in his pocket, balancing a tray of coffee cups in his free hand. Oh, Haas, you seem to have a fair bit of coffee there. Yep, one of these is for you, big guy. Dean's eyes light up, shuffling around me to get his coffee and downing a good amount of it before sighing out content. You're a lifesaver. I bought another one for Dave, but it seems like he's already has one. Oh no, I'll drink that one too. Gimme. Gremlin, here, take it. Okay. Haas handed it out to me, and I swiped it eagerly, sighing out as I used the heat to warm my hands. Hey Dave, given I'm already halfway through mine, interested in sharing the extra cup you have? I felt my eyes narrow. It's times like this that I dislike that Dean took his coffee the same as me. But my look was enough to dissuade Dean from asking again. Hey Haas, how's things? Sleep well? Man, I definitely don't. I'm not kind of about this guy. I don't. There's an energy to him, I guess. Maybe it's the Steven Universe star. I don't know. These other two chaps, though, they seem cool. Of course. As if demonstrating his point, he ran a hand through his mane, adjusting how it was sitting. Anyways, always, I don't know, have to get my beauty rest in. Can't afford having crow's feet at my age. I don't know, man. I had wrinkles by the end of high school, and I'm just kind of like, this is my life, I guess. Not to mention, if you're going to have a mane, better have it well groomed. I mean, I guess that makes sense, actually. Haas had always been one to have aspired for the big screen, or maybe he was just very conscious of his appearance. Not that that was a bad thing. Occasionally, he'd be wearing the latest clothes or smelling real nice, but always well groomed. I admire him for that sometimes. So about this mansion, Haas. What about it? You don't look too excited. Maybe he just needed more coffee in his system like Dave does. What about you, Haas? At the moment we're at a tie. Well, not every day you get to experience something new, and this sort of thing really isn't really something you get to just up and go do for the day, right? Not that I'm going in blind, but you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Gift horse? It was at this point that the sound of the bus approaching called our attention to it pulling alongside the bus stop we'd arranged for it to pick us up at. Maybe I'll explain later. Either way, let's get to it, right? So it's time. Really, it's time. Orlando's an excited boy. Okay. Orlando looked like he was about ready to burst with how he was jumping up and down. Geez, you're going to wear, God, it's like 1 a.m. Geez, you're going to wear me out just looking at you, Orlando. Calm down. But while Orlando and Dean chatted about something, I zoned out, opting instead to look down at the road, where at least there was one last person I was waiting on, someone who'd I'd personally invited that hadn't shown yet. As I turned around, there was a polar bear standing there with a clipboard, looking at as if he'd had little sleep. He adjusted the cap on his head while he looked over the list before looking at Roswell. Picking up a bunch of people to head up into the mountains. Have I got the right group? That should be us. The driver nodded, crossing something off his clipboard before looking over each of us, counting. Someone missing? Missing? Wait. Yeah, they're just running late is all. Won't be too much longer. All right, well, hop on then. Roswell looked up at me, confused. Who are we missing? Everyone's here. Sal, Haas, Roswell, bus mansion? Sal rolled his eyes, retrieving his bag, and at the same time Orlando before getting on the bus. Oh, right. That +1 I said you could bring. I get it. Roswell turned to Orlando soon after, and I got the impression that Roswell had prioritized what he was about to do over questioning who we were waiting on. Say, Orlando, how do you think I managed to get to the mansion? Wait. Say, Orlando, how do you think I managed to get the mansion for a month anyway? I don't know. Well, let's just say family connections. This is seeming more like a thing you'd sell our souls out for. How readily available are mansions anyway? Orlando's scales paled slightly, his excitement shot. I don't think Roswell's family had that much sway, yeah. But I was open to this just being a lucky break. Souls, well. Orlando hurriedly reached out for Roswell, who stepped back out of reach, throwing his hands up as he backed over his own bag. Tell me you didn't, Roswell. Again, he reaches over for Roswell, who ducked under Orlando using his smaller frame to his advantage. Just remember to pay Charon the toll for crossing the river when you get... Oh, Charon? Crossing the river when you get on the bus, Orlando. Roswell giddily jumped onto the bus and out of reach. Well, whatever the reason, I'm happy. It'll be nice to have an early taste of the good life. Haas joined Roswell soon after, while Orlando still having a miniature panic attack on the sidewalk. He had always been wary of the supernatural, which, given Roswell's interest in it, occasionally brought responses like this. That name badge the driver wore said Liam, right? Not Karen. I wasn't paying attention. Oh God, I'm going to die, aren't I? Yeah, hopefully. If I have anything to say about it. With slumped shoulders, Orlando waddled onto the bus, leaving myself and Dean on the sidewalk. So? Dean had finished his coffee and flicked it over to the trash can nearby. When he turned back to me, he places both hands heavily on my shoulders, making my knees buckle, if only a little bit. So a month alone. I chuckle again, this time nervous. My cheeks were warming up, and if it wasn't for my fur, I'd probably have been beet red. Dean's particular brand of flirtation was either sappy or just forward. Sometimes coming across as just tactless. But still, I liked it. I just wish I had the confidence to return it in kind. What is he doing here? Oh. The wolf approaches, nonchalantly despite almost having missed the bus. Maybe it was because he was sure that I wouldn't leave without him. In unison, I looked up at the windows of the bus to the others who were giving my +1 the evil look. Not that I blamed them, knowing what sort of reputation Tyson had. Hey. I looked back to Ty, who was sizing me up before stealing a look at Dan. Dean? Yeah. By comparison, Dean looked much like the others on the bus. Just in time, yeah? Dean was grumbling, grabbing his bag and getting onto the bus. As bad as it was, I knew he'd be fine fine eventually, and kept my attention on Tyson, given no one else had lingered to say hello. Yeah, just in time. You didn't tell anyone I was coming, did you? I laughed again, and Tyson knew better than any of the others when I'd been caught out with how long he'd been around. Not as long as Roswell, but longer than Orlando. You're a fucking brat, but no avoiding it now. But hey, you're here, so that's good, right? Ty shrugged, looking around for a bit as if he didn't want to look at me directly. Yeah, well, Don't think I'll be making any new friends this month. Hey, you never know. Prefer if I didn't, to be honest. Easier that way. Still, thanks for the invite. Of course, Ty. Couldn't not invite you after all. I followed Ty onto the bus, sticking behind him as he shoved his way all the way towards the back. The bus lurched and I bumped my bag into an empty seat, taking note of where everyone was. Ty was at the back by himself. Roswell and Orlando were sitting together, and Dean and Sal were, and so were Dean and Sal, the pair of them looking to settle in for a nap, and Haas was pulling out a magazine. Leaving Ty to stretch out over the back seat, I wandered over to Orlando and Roswell, who seemed to have some sort of continuation from their discussion outside. No, but really, what did it cost us? Oh, you know, only our souls. Orlando lets out a wail, clutching his head. You know he's not serious, right? How do you know, Dave? Roswell gestures at me with a piece of red licorice. A smug grin on his face. He knew how to push buttons, especially Orlando's. Well, our souls aren't worth that much, are they? Hey now, you can't go saying that. You're worth plenty. Yeah, your soul alone could pay for the whole trip. What the fuck? Okay. Is that how you talk to your friends? Oh well. I laughed nervously before settling into a weary cry. A smile. I say, there you go. Now you can have your soul back, Orlando. Orlando and Roswell looked toward one another before looking back at me. So, you do know the other reason I put this together, right? What reason? Ever since the isn't, you've been sort of distant, muted maybe. Like, I don't know. You don't seem like the cheerful hyena you were before it happened. Oh, I guess I haven't, huh? Once again, they look at one another, almost as if wanting the other to say something first. We just miss the old you is all. I'm fine, really. Well, you know how it is. Are you sure? Positive. Then I guess that's all there is to it. This'll be the best vacation ever, promise. The best vacation ever? I sure hope so. With high school over for Haas, Roswell, Orlando, and I, this was going to be the last time we could freely hang out together as a group. Sure, there was every chance we'd be able to see each other every now and again, but nothing like this. I looked to the others on the bus, a slight smile forming. These were my friends, and I was happy they were here. I stifled a yawn, wondering if I should get a nap in now or hold off for a bit. We were going to be on the road for a while, so I spent some time checking in with some people, or just get the nap in now before we arrive. I don't... who do I like more? Which one was Haas? Was the lion, right? Sal was the scaly. Dean was the horny bear. And Ty's, I guess, our wolf friend that everyone hates. Well, let's talk to the horny friend. I wander over to near the front of the bus where Dean was stretching out still, getting comfortable in his seat. Oh, Dave, what's up? Oh, nothing really. Just thought I'd check in. Things are fine here. How about you? Well, I glanced back at Tyson at the back of the bus before looking back to Dean. What's wrong? Just, no, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't be silly, Dave. Sit down for a bit. I nodded slowly, sitting next to Dean and finding him place a comfortable hand over my knee. What's bothering you? Nervous about this vacation? think something's gonna happen. I laugh nervously, giving myself away. The idea of Dean and I at a house, basically living together for a month, gave me a whole slew of feelings I didn't know how to process. I could be lusty and raunchy at times. Can you? Okay. And part of me liked it, but as someone with near zero experience in anything like that, I had concerns. Well, something could happen, right? Well, don't worry. If it does, we'll go slow. All right. Unless you were thinking of something now to pass the time on the bus. Jesus Christ, Dean. Like, okay. I laughed again, looking around quickly at where the others are on the bus. What was Dean suggesting? We had privacy enough getting given the seats, but before I had the time to explain, Dean removed his hand from my knee and yawned. Speaking of, I was just planning on getting some sleep in before we arrived. You look like you could do the same. I had coffee, I'll be fine. No sooner than the words that left my house than I yawned, mimicking Dean's stretch from before. Fine, are you? Okay, so maybe I could benefit from a nap too. Offer is there if you want to cuddle up for the trip. Say yes, Dave. Or, anything else for that matter. Dean. We both laugh. Quite as in not to bother the others. That said, if I cuddle up to Dean now, I'm sure Orlando would have a bunch of things to say with how he's gone on about us making a partially cute couple in the past. So aside from a nap, how are you feeling? Fine. What about you? I watched as Dean looked over at his chair towards Tyson at the back of the bus. Also fine. You don't sound it. Plus, outside. It'll be fine. Oh, look at this face. He's cute. If you invited him, then I'm just going to have to suck it up. Right, and speaking of sucking, Jesus, I made the right choice. Dean wriggled his eyebrows at me, playing up his lewd joke to make me laugh. It was whiplash, but it was looking at diffusing the tension rather than letting the conversation linger on Tyson's presence. Well, if you're sure things are fine, I'll let you get back to getting ready for a nap, and I'll do something. With a wink, Dave gave my leg another pat before keeping his hands to himself. Well, all right. I guess I'll speak to you later. With a nod, I get up from the next spot, and I wonder if I should take his lead to take a nap or... Oh, okay. Okay, so I get to talk to everybody. That wasn't me locking myself into a route, which I thought. So we'll talk to Sal. I wandered towards the front of the bus where Sal seemed to be staring out the window. Hey, Sal. Oh, big. Okay. He didn't answer at first. His eyes glazed over as the world went by on the other side of the window. What? He sounded tired, and he turned to me just enough so he could look at me. I snuck a glance at Orlando, who was still being tormented by Roswell, before looking back at Sal, confident that I was being nearly as much of a pain. That I wasn't being nearly as much of a pain. Yeah, just checking in. Everything all right? Yeah, everything's fine. So you're tired too, huh? Aren't you normally up this morning? This early? I am, but Orlando is a lot to deal with when he's excited. Did you need did you have coffee? No coffee at Orlando's place. I figured I'd be fine with tea, but he shook his head, leaving his comment there. Sal was usually one of few words, but for the most part, he was easy to talk to. Granted, he didn't always say something back, but he was a good listener. So are you as excited as Orlando? Or he shrugged. Even if there's a pool and a gym there. A pool? The faintest of smiles creep onto his face. And, does he like swimming? Okay. And his gaze went up to the window for a moment before returning to me. Maybe I'm a little excited. Oh, okay. Sal didn't seem up for conversation with how he yawned soon after he went back to to looking out the window. As for me, I was back to figuring out what to do. Oh, that's not a long conversation. Okay. Sal seems cute. I'd like to Haas. I wander over to where Haas was sitting, leaning over the chair behind him to see what he was reading. What are you reading, Haas? Oh, just the magazine I picked up from the convenience store. He thumbed the pages he'd yet to get to before flashing me with a quick smile. Didn't think I'd run into this issue there, but they had it, so I bought it. Don't tell me you didn't bring anything to do on the bus while we drove there. Oh no, I was just curious is all. I half expected it to be a manga or something. I am shocked and offended, Dave. Me? Manga? Never. Same. We both laughed, knowing full aware that the person most enthusiastic about the anime club was Haas. Somehow he managed to balance between... Between's not even there. What am I even on? To balance being a rabid anime fan and an aspiring big screen scoop superstar just fine. But really, though, a magazine? Sure, why not? I gave him a look, baffled by what he would find interesting about gossip magazines. Okay, fine. It's useful for stay up to date with these sorts of things. Trust me on this. Outside of that, though, it's just for fun. That's what the internet's for, though. Like, if you want to, like, hit up on what's the latest goss, you know, you just... I watched as he flicked to the back, showing me a few of the last pages. Puzzles, crosswords, a quiz. If you want your horoscope read, it could do that too. If you're that hard pressed for entertainment, I could give it to you when I'm done. Maybe, I don't know. Doing a crossword sounds like fun. Says no one ever. It's fine. Are you actually going to fill it out with words relating to the clues this time? Hey, you never know. He smirked before gesturing to the back of the bus behind me. Before I forget, what's the deal with him? With Ty? Yeah, Orlando and Roswell didn't seem too happy when he showed up, let alone Dean. He's a friend. A friend, huh? So long as he doesn't go making any trouble, we should be fine. I've heard things. Oh, right. You only moved here at the start of the year, huh? Moved here sooner, but started school at the start of the year, yeah. Still, guy carries a reputation. He's fine, promise. Well, mostly anyway. Guess we'll see that. If you reckon he's alright, I'll give him a chance. But he's only getting one, alright? That's all I ask. He's really not that bad. Haas snuck another look at Ty before going back to his magazine. Guess we'll just have to see, Dave. I'll let you get back to your magazine. With how you were clutching your coffee, I'd say you needed a catnap, huh? I gave Haas a smile before turning away, wondering if I should take that catnap or not. No, I gotta talk to all my friends. I glanced back at the others as I made my way down to the back of the bus. As I drew closer, I noticed Ty watching me closely, the gentle swish of his tail giving me a clue of his mood. Hey. I sit down next to Ty, who, rather than sitting his leg up to make room, just spread himself out further, further once I settled. What's up? Nothing, just checking in. How's the bus going? Going fine. Like, okay, like what kind of question is that? Oh well. Oh, whoops! I right clicked. Okay, there we go. Although bullshit that you weren't checking in on me, cause you were worried. Although bullshit that you weren't. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe a little. I'll be fine, pup. You're not getting any idea about doing anything back here, are you? What do you? My eyes dripped down to his lap where he was making a lewd gesture with his hands. All it took was a moment for me to bring my gaze back up to realizing I've been busted. As I shrank into my shoulders, embarrassed, Tyson roared with laughter. I'm out of your league, pup. Almost immediately, I retorted, jaws clenched. I am not. Oh yeah? You confessing to me, Dave? Despite my groan, he snickers to me. Ty knew where to push my buttons well, and some of that was from when he was the local bully. Things were different between us now, but the others not so much. Still, he was as much of a friend now as any of the others, and even though he was raising me the same way, razzing, okay, me the same way I'd expect Dean to, I managed to crack a smile on my own. You wish I was confessing. Ty rolled his eyes, settled in, stretching out further and taking up more space, so I was half pushed out the seat. So a month, yeah? This trip? Yeah, 1 month. Ty's gaze drips for a moment before looking back at me, his expression something I couldn't quite place. What's up? Nothing, just thinking. You thinking? Rather than giving me some sort of proper reply, he placed a foot against my cheek and pushed me out further off the seat. Okay, sorry. Just a lot going on is all. Don't worry about it. If you say so. I guess I'll get back to you later. I'm currently doing... Yeah, I guess I'll let you get back to it, okay? I'm currently doing it. You should go take a nap, though, pup. You look wrecked. Yeah, eventually. I'll talk to you later, Ty. See ya. I slide the rest of the way off the seat and wondered if I should take that nap now or... Yeah, okay. Yes, we will finally force Dave to sleep. Hopefully. I returned to my seat and double-checked everything was neatly in my bag before lounging back and closing my eyes with a sigh. Dave, are you sleeping? Jesus, I'm trying to fucking sleep, Roswell. Okay. Because if you're not, I wanted to ask you something. Why would you ask if someone's sleeping? Jesus Christ, just look and go like, they're probably sleeping. Should probably not bother them. I opened my eyes, tired but giving Roswell a quick smile as he leans over to the chair in front of me, chin resting on his folded arms. What's up, Roswell? I just wanted to know if you were planning on documenting this vacation at all. Like, did you bring a camera or something? What? Like my phone? Fishing out of my pocket, I flashed it at Roswell. I guess that works. Oh, actually, there was something I brought along. Let me pull it out. I rummaged into my bag and pulled out a small notebook, rubbing my fingers across the cover. I have this. I figured that if this was going to be the last time we hung out, maybe it'd be neat to have a little journal. Maybe I could maybe I can scrapbook parts of it to... Roswell let his arms drape over the back of the chair, eyes flicking down to the notebook in my hands. How are you going to scrapbook things without a Polaroid camera, Dave? I can draw or print them out from my phone when I get home. Well, I guess that's a good idea. I have my own notebook, so I might make a journal of my own. Maybe we can, I don't know, compare and make copies for everyone else. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Let's sort it out later. For now, I'm guessing you're going to try to sleep again. Probably, I'm still beat. Well, alright. If you wake up at some point and want to chill, Orlando and will be watching stuff near the front, or maybe playing cards or something. Sleep well. Roswell popped back down and wandered up the length of the bus back over to Orlando's before sitting down. As for me, I put the journal and my phone away, resting back and closing my eyes once more. The gentle rolling of the bus and how the low drone of the engine was enough to lull me aside, given how tired I was when, even after 2 cups of coffee. I must have slept the whole way to the mansion, as when I was coming to, I could smell a familiar scent of honey right near my nose. Not only that, but the feeling of warm air made me open my eyes carefully, only to come face to face with Dean. Friendly face. Whoa, Dean. My hands quickly found their way to his body. One haphazardly on his chest, and the other one on his face in a panic. He just chuckled, letting himself get pushed back with his size. There was no way I was going to legitimately move him if he put up any sort of resistance. Good morning to you too. You were sleeping so soundly, I figured you might need someone to wake you up. You couldn't just shake me gently, or what, and not kiss Sleeping Beauty? Wait, you didn't actually kiss me, and I slept through it, right? Well, I could always kiss you just in case. I felt my cheeks go red and I laughed, stopping only when Dean recoiled from something hitting him square on the forehead. I looked back at Ty, who seemed to be rolling his eyes, but very clearly the only one who could have thrown whatever it was that hit Dean's head. Well, we're pulling up now. Basically, they're already. Driveway was long enough as it was. Without any word, Dean went back to his seat? Chair? Okay. Scratching his head and stopping by Sal to say something. I couldn't make it out what it was, so I double-checked I had everything in preparation for us getting off the bus. Occasionally, I'd look out the window, watching the trees go by as we made our way up the driveway, or what was left of it before they parted proper for the last stretch leading to the mansion itself. As we gathered all our bags, we filed off the bus, with Ty pulling up the rear following me closely. Okay. Before us stood a mansion, some 3 stories tall. This was where we were staying, and effectively our home for the month. A smile formed on my face as the excitement started to settle in now that I could see it. With Tyson whistling in awe next to me, echoing how I was feeling. Roswell and Orlando led the charge, excitedly heading toward the front of the door, to the mansion with their bags in tow. This place is amazing. Look how big it is. Right? This is gonna be great. They hurried on ahead, leaving the rest of us to come to our senses. Big house. Yeah. I was half expecting him to come out with a lewd joke just with the setup Sal gave him. When it didn't come, I come to the assumption that he was just as floored as the rest of us with just how big this place was. Haas stepped up, stretching. Big as this is, I don't see myself living in a place like this. I'd rather something more modern. Ty shifts his weight of his bag, muttering something under his breath, barely loud enough for me to hear. Makes you think it's a fucking king, I reckon. Makes you feel like a fucking king, I reckon. Not for me, though. Good thing it isn't forever then, Ty. Haas wanders over over to the others with Tyson lingering close by, waiting for me. The driver steps off the bus, making sure we'd all disembarked before tipping their cap. I see everyone's got everything, so I'll be heading off. I'll be back in a month. Enjoy your trip. With only a wave, the driver got back onto the bus and drove away. I watched as the bus disappeared back among the trees, wondering if I'd be happy or sad to see the bus come back when the trip was over. I must have zoned out. As soon enough, Ty had an arm around my shoulder and started guiding me towards the front door to where the others were waiting. All right, we're here, everyone. Roswell reached out and hit the doorbell before turning back to us. This is going to be great! There's a pool outside, a gym downstairs, so Sal will be happy. And who's this friend? And in the forest, I think there's a river, so we can go fishing maybe. As Roswell continued on about how much fun we were going to have, the rest of us had turned to the sharply dressed butler that had opened the door to greet us. Master Roswell, I presume. Roswell spun on the spot, startled at the new voice addressing him. Yeah, that's me. Very good. If you'll all follow me inside, we can get you settled in. Turning on his heel, the otter wandered inside, leaving the rest of us to look at one another before looking to Roswell. Should we? May as well, yeah. We filed into the foyer of the mansion, the tiles underneath seemingly freshly clean from how glossy they looked. Gentlemen, I welcome you to Hammond Manor. Sure, I can't read. The butler gestures towards the stairs leading up before he continues. Bathrooms are up on the first floor with further facilities on the floors above that. Don't need to tell me twice. I don't need a tour. All eyes were on Tyson as he said it, although the butler seemed to give him a quick look over before addressing the rest of us. You have the freedom to roam as you please within the manor, as long as no damage comes of you doing so. Really? We can go anywhere? You may, although there are some rooms that you should find that you cannot access. Well, sure, but... Orlando trails off, but my curiosity pushes me forward to finishing asking the question. What kinds of rooms are off limits? The otter strokes his mustache, seemingly thinking it over before looking at and talking to me directly. Mostly those I'm still cleaning, or those that have less than ideal furnishings. To say the least, if you find a bedroom with nothing in it, consider it off limits until they're cleaned. I've left doors open to the ones prepared for you, so please take your pick. Ty wandered off up the stairs ahead of everyone, lugging his bag. Well, alright, that seems easy. With a place this big, are we meeting back at some point later? You shall find the dining room off to your left. Make yourselves comfortable, and I shall have refreshments ready if you need them. Well, alright. With a slight bow, the otter wandered off in the direction he pointed the dining room to, before disappearing into an adjoining room. That left the rest of us to take our bags up and find rooms. We each had our own, and thankfully they were all fairly close to one another. I dropped my bags off in my room and had a quick look around before wandering back downstairs. Seemed like everyone had already moved on, though, as I was soon standing in the foyer by myself. Data. I see. Day 1. Okay. I think that'll be it for part 1, you know? Nice hour or so reading the beginning. Kind of like it so far, but it is the beginning, so see how much I actually care for it later on. Hopefully I like it. These characters seem cute, so hopefully see you then.